Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 48 of the GrowCast Show. My name is Lisa Marie White, and I'm your host for today. And for today's show, we have Dr. Nicholas Lim with us, also known as Dr. Chiro.
Wow. Thank you, Lisa. It was really wonderful.
Hi, nice to have you. So, Dr. Chiro, what makes someone better than normal?
So I guess when you want to say better than normal is when you're willing to do the things that most people don't want to do, because that way, because at the end of the day, we only have 24 hours in the day, right?
Yeah.
So in order to be better than normal, you really have to put in the time, because at the end of the day, we are all professionals. And to be a professional means you have to put in time and time and time again doing the same thing and to be better than normal.
Mm-hmm. So is that what makes you better than normal?
Yes. I think that what makes me better than normal is, so especially when I was a chiropractic student in the US, on top of my studies, I also was doing a lot of things that most people wouldn't do, like practicing, attending a lot of classes on top of my own schedule, and also continually studying, and I'm still studying today.
Oh, wow. You learn something new every day, basically.
Yes.
Is that
and
what
I still take seminars today. I take classes today. I read, because every day is a learning day. Because only then you can be better than normal, because we are still a student. And end of the day, I always believe to have the heart of a student, because when we have a heart of a student, then we know that it's the path of mastery. It wasn't the mastery course, because if the moment you think you're a master, that's game over.
True.
Right? Because we won't want to learn more. And then having the heart of a student puts you on the path, and that path is always a lifelong study.
Okay, so Dr. Chiro, tell us how you became a chiropractor and your journey.
So, I always wanted to become a chiropractor because, so when I was in my teenager years, I think I suffered from a lot of neck problems, back problems. So my dad, my mom, they would be very worried about me. And then they will always send me to all kinds of healers, practitioners, and try all sorts of things. But before that, the usual thing in Singapore is to go to the medical doctor. But then one thing I was realizing was when I went to the medical doctor, they didn't know what was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
After X-rays, MRIs, they couldn't detect anything. And then the thing was, they just kept giving me painkillers.
Right.
And after painkillers, I didn't think it worked. And then when I saw the specialist, they give me even stronger painkillers, right? But it didn't work. So after that, my mom, my dad, they started to bring me to see TCM, and then even to bring me see chiropractors. And actually, my dad, my brother was the one who strongly advised me to see a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And after I saw that and having a series of sessions, my problems generally slowly to disappear by itself. And I was like, wow, how come these chiropractors can help me when the other people cannot help me? So I think if this happens to me,
so you were inspired, basically.
Yes. And It's like, if this could happen to me, I'm sure that there are many men and women in Singapore, or maybe young boys and young girls in Singapore that could be facing the same conditions as me. And I said that, and I realized there's not enough chiropractors in Singapore. And I said, maybe I should, but that would be a lifelong question to me to be on that journey.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Who is Dr. Chiro, and when did Dr. Chiro start?
So who is Dr. Chiro? So I went to the US in Davenport, Iowa, Palmer College of Chiropractic, actually the original chiropractic school. And to me, it's the best chiropractic school in the world because it's founded by the founder himself. And, when I was searching for that. And upon going there, it was a very holistic education, and they even taught us about business. And at some point, just in my starting, I really knew then in my first year of school, I wanted to start Dr. Chiro. And I actually started, designing the logo, designing all about it, because I was envisioning, all this that I would do even years later, So I was, writing down the purpose and values, the mission, the vision, and all these different things, even as a student. And so finally, when I graduated, so I knew that I wanted to start Dr. Chiro. And one of my mentors, I spoke to my mentors like, Dr. Tori Robson and Dr. Arnold Bernier in US. They actually told me that heavily inspire me to say that all their students and actually start out practices, and I am definitely ready. And I was like, oh yeah, I did. I actually wrote down the business plan. I wrote out all these things in 2017 already. So, and then when 2020 came, I was ready. So I was like creating that, and in July 2020, I started Dr. Chiro, and then in a few months, I didn't have a place, but in November of 2020, I moved to my current location at 52 Blair Road at Outram. And this is how it all started, and so it's like a big journey of like 5 years before of thinking, and then that brought me to become that.
Okay. How and where did you learn chiropractic?
So in the beginning, I was going to Palmer School. That way we were taught the curriculum that was part of most of the chiropractic schools. And so after that, I realized by speaking to different professors, different mentors, that there were many styles of chiropractic. I think there were like 4,000 versions of chiropractic, and so I did my best to learn as much as I can. So because I realized that all the chiropractic grades, as they say, were all in US. So I took during my weekends, Saturday, Sunday, whenever they were in town, I was always there. I think during my time of close to 3.5, 4 years in the US, I took over 80 seminars while I was in school, and I helped to organize many of them because I realized I wanted to learn the little nitty-gritty stuff and the bite-sized pieces, because I realized every mentor was saying something differently, and I realized that because it's chiropractic is like an art, and art, you have to learn the fundamental principles, the fundamental philosophy and everything, and then you have to make it your own, and so that it can fit your body stature and your hands, you can fit your size and everything, and eventually make it your own, because eventually everybody is different. And so that was where I learned. And previously I said I studied at Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa, founded in 1895 by Dr. Daniel David Palmer, who is the founder of chiropractic today, and he's the reason why I'm here.
So would you say, that was actually my next question, would you say that he was a person that inspired you to become a chiropractor?
Yes, so I started to read a lot about his life. Unfortunately, by the time, even if I want to learn from him, it's not possible because that's like he was around, some 130 years ago, right? He's definitely an inspiration to me because you read about his life, all the things that he has went through to actually put the fundamental basis of chiropractic and how he understanding that the body can heal itself, and the body through alignment, through proper adjustments can help people to heal, especially when they are facing challenges in their life or challenges in their health.
So I know a couple of people who sometimes have issues like headaches and back pains, etc. Can Dr. Chiro help with headaches?
Yes. So, at the end of the day, everybody is different, but in general, we have pretty much a lot of clients with headaches, because and many of them, whether it's the front side, the back side, the sides, different parts of the head is painful, because you really got to get them to point where the issue is. And there are people that after they actually get adjusted, they say, hey, my headaches disappear. And some of them not immediately, but the next day they say, oh, they text you and they say, oh, next day, oh, after I woke up in the morning, my headaches was not there anymore. And what do you actually do? So they were really surprised.
So where would you adjust someone who is having a headache? Like which part of their body? Would you be adjusting their head or their neck?
So in Dr. Chiro, we use a lot of the Zone Chiropractic analysis protocol. So there's 6 parts of the brain, the glandular zone, the elimination zone, the nervous system zone, the digestion zone, the musculoskeletal zone, and lastly, the circulation zone. And this was taught by Dr. Termanfleet. And so our adjustment style is based on which side of the brain we feel the issue is. And because we're not adjusting the headaches, but we are actually resetting the system that actually, when the system is jammed, it cannot process and it causes headaches. So we reset that, and then after that, the body, can heal itself better.
Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't know that. Okay, so can Dr. Chiro also help with back problems?
Certainly, for back problems, lower back is one of the most commonly reported musculoskeletal problems in the world today. And more people are coming in with low back pains, whether they could be just going to the gym and then they do something in the gym and then they get back pain. Or sometimes they said they just walk. After walking a while, they got a back pain. And then sometimes they're just sitting down and then suddenly they go and grab something and then on the floor. And then next thing, backache. And then we certainly see a lot of that, and we work on the same principles to find the cause, because end of the day, anybody can fix symptoms, but if you really want to get well, you have to fix the cause. Right? And when you help the cause, then back pains can disappear as well.
As a lady who wears high heels a lot, does wearing high heels actually cause back pain? Do you think it contributes to it?
Certainly. Do you think it's like high around this height?
Yeah, about 3 inches.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I see a lot of women that, and actually, I've actually advised many of my clients to only wear high heels when they really need to, on like business functions and things like that. Because end of the day, there's still a need to wear high heels, but certainly it's very straining, because imagine you're walking that on like very, very, you're walking that and you're carrying a lot.
Point, yeah.
Yes, and you're carrying a lot of weight. That's like the center of attraction to your system, right? And then it's like, that's like a lot of weight put into your heels, and then the foot is like the foundation. So when the heels is then proper, then it will affect like the knee, it affects the hips, the thighs, it will affect the back, and a lot of it prolonged, it can also cause problems, because you just walk there like you're walking at a very, very strained angle. Maybe because our bodies are master adapters, and so sometimes people get used to it, but I think even they get used to it, the problem is actually still there.
Yeah, well, thanks for the tip. I was using it for about 10 years, so I think I'll take it easy now and have this in mind. What about shoulder pain? Can Dr. Chiro help with shoulder pain?
Yes, so we have actually a lot of clients that actually feedback that after seeing us, their shoulder is better. That being said, sometimes it requires some time, because everybody's issues is different. Some people take a shorter time, some people take a longer time, because we need to understand, is it maybe a rotator cuff, maybe is it the front or the back or the socket, or the shoulder blade is actually the one giving the issues. And by doing that, we can pinpoint the cause and to help the shoulder problems. And I think more and more people, especially when people have jobs that carry heavy stuff,
or going to the gym. Does going to the gym also affect it?
So I think going to the gym is one thing, definitely, especially if you have improper technique. So that's why it's very important to work with the proper professionals like trainers, especially if you cannot do improper technique, because then they will guide you on the proper biomechanics, so that will prevent injuries from happening. And that's really important. And even being a chiro, right? Chiropractors themselves, like I have colleagues that after adjustments, if they don't have good biomechanics and they didn't have the right posture themselves, after adjusting people, their shoulders also hurt. So
right.
So at the end of the day, I would say, even though they are the doctors and they are clinics, but we are human after all, right?
True. Can Dr. Chiro help with knee pain?
Yes, so I can say that for sure, because a couple of my good friends actually who saw me for knee problems, they actually got better, and some was just as little as a single visit, or some took a couple of visits, right? Or some people take long more than 10 visits. Everybody is different, but also my current clients, many of them, they actually, especially like walking up the stairs, because sometimes maybe the elevator is not working and stuff, and then they walk up the stairs and then they feel very painful and stuff, or they like that click clock sound, right? And then after that, they come for adjustments. So we find out the issue, and usually the issue is away from the knee. And when we actually adjust away from the knee to help the surroundings, then the last part we will adjust the knee. Because if the surroundings is not taken care of and you just adjust the knee, then the thing will come back.
I find that as I'm getting older, like after I turned 30, I have all these back problems and knee pain and things I never really experienced before when I was in my 20s. Would you say that most of your clients are older? Do you have any clients who see you who are younger, in their 20s or or who are teenagers?
So I see all kinds of people, like even from as young as babies. I have baby clients. I have clients that are kids, clients that are teenagers, young adults, older adults, and to even people in the elderly, right? Because everybody needs chiropractor. In the words of my of many chiropractors, they say if you have a spine, you need a chiropractor. Because actually, the myth is only older people see chiropractors, but actually we are seeing more and more younger people having issues for different reasons. One of the reasons could be lifestyle, right? And they're not eating as well, and so they're eating like a lot of eating out a lot,
Healthy food,
deep fried, sugar, oil, and all kinds of foods that have hidden toxins, hidden fats, and all these are very causing a lot of inflammation in your body. And so when you have inflammation in your body, you have actually put a lot of increased stress to your system. And when you have increased stress, your body goes into problems. And then, Murphy's Law, whatever will go wrong.
Yeah.
That will then apply into this situation.
What about looking down at your phone a lot? Does that also affect our posture or our neck muscles in a certain way?
Good question. And actually, when you look down a lot, when you look down every time, you're actually putting so when you actually like every degree of the cervical spine that goes down, that's like 20-30 kilograms of weight additional putting to your spine. So imagine you do that constantly, and when I ask people, do you have stress, injuries, traumas, or that, most of them will say no. But then when I ask them this, and most of them say yes, and then I'll tell them this is actually micro trauma and micro injuries, because today you do this, okay, tomorrow, okay, but you try that 1 year later, after 1 year, you do this.
So we have to use our phones like this.
Yes, at eye level, right? And then we can actually, I know it's really difficult, but that's why a lot of key is to educate, because this things that is really important, but most people don't think about it. Not because it's not important, but they're just not aware of it. So awareness is really important before we can do any change.
Yeah, well, you're sharing awareness now, so thank you so much for sharing awareness with that.
It's my pleasure.
Can Dr. Chiro help with ankle pain?
Yeah, so many people that come to me come with ankle pain, and actually after that I will do my adjustments, and after that they say, "Oh, my ankle is good," and they don't believe it, and then you usually refer to their friends and family a lot about that, and then so a lot of people I see are actually for ankle pains, and also like ankle stiffness, or when they walk they feel very, very, that whole stretch of lining from the ankle to this whole calf area is tight. That will definitely help.
Can Dr. Chiro help with wrist pain?
For sure, I would say, but end of the day, like I said, most people can get better, but sometimes we need to know the patient's underlying issues. Sometimes, so that's why as much information when people come and tell us about their wrists, they need to be as truthful to us as possible and give us more information, because by doing that, we can then help the wrist. But a lot of times we use a lot of our hands, our wrists to write, to use the phones, and so a lot of them put a lot of tension, and so usually we see a lot of cases with that, and a lot of them, not just their wrist but their fingers, after adjustments, they get a lot better and they get relief, and they also solve their wrist problems.
It seems like adjustments take a lot of strength, but with that strength, would it hurt someone when you like press on their back or twist their neck? Does that hurt them? And does it require a lot of strength?
Actually, after adjusting a lot of people, I would say that I know from far, it looks like it uses a lot of strength, but actually on the contrary, it doesn't use a lot of strength. Many times I even show a lot of my clients, and sometimes my clients, their family or their friends sit at the side and they watch me, they say, "Oh, you only use like one finger." But from far, it looks like a lot of force. But I said, no, I'm using a force of a finger, because honestly, it's not about the force. It's about specificity. It's about being very specific, right? And when you're specific and you have enough training, right? And you have a lot of training and you're using the right biomechanics, you don't need a lot of force. And so with not a lot of force, but speed, you need speed, right? So when you have that, then it really doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt client, because you're being very specific. Interesting.
Thank you. So that crack sound you get when you go for a massage, is that the same thing that happens when you have an adjustment?
Well, good question. There's always a joke, because my clients were like saying that, oh, that crack sound sounds like you run a crack house. Then I was like, no, different. I do the crack, yes, a crack, but it's not crack house. So it's like crack. For the crack sound, it's actually like releasing of the tension and pressure. It's actually releasing of nitrogen gas coming that is built up in the joints and the spine and the different parts of the joints in the body. And so that is just a release of tension. And many people sometimes get scared about it. And I'll urge people not to get scared because it's just at the end of the day, we are not focusing on that sound, but we are focusing in moving the bones. When we move the bones, then we can get things going and then people can get better as a result.
Can you describe to me what happens typically in a first consultation with you?
So in the first consultation with me, usually for me, because of my background, not just as a chiropractor, but I'm also trained in nutrition. So what we usually do is we ask, so after that, we will usually get scans. So after people would fill up the form with us, right, to get checked in, and then we will scan them to check their posture, to check their health history, and their overall health. And once we do that, they will get into a consultation with me, and I'll do an assessment to see how I'm able to help them. And then after that, I will let them know my reported findings. And then if everything is good, we will adjust them and to tell them how they could get better and what is our what will we do for them actually.
What you recommend basically based on the report.
Correct. And because everybody is different and we need to see each case. It's not like just, people WhatsApp us, I got this problem, can we help you? And we usually say, it's hard to give you a phone consultation or anything because we are an individual. We're helping individuals, we're not helping symptoms. And that requires a whole lot of training and a whole lot of understanding of the human body before we're able to tailor our adjustments for them.
Can I do my own chiropractic adjustments? If I saw a YouTube video, perhaps, would I be able to do my own chiropractic adjustment at home?
Honestly, Lisa, before I went to chiropractic school, I had that thought before. I was considering doing my own chiropractic adjustment. But after that, after many years now, I realized that it's actually very dangerous because especially when you are expecting a health outcome, a physiological change in the body, and whatever you do that, when you're actually like doing it yourself, you cannot see the joints, you cannot feel the joints properly. And what if you actually just go the wrong way and then if something pops wrongly, and then that is actually
you suffer from
dangerous. Yes, and then people have to go through the consequences about it.
Are chiropractors real doctors?
So I would say in many parts of the world, chiropractors are considered real doctors because especially if you look at the World Health Organization, in order to be called a chiropractic physician, chiropractic doctor, candidates who study the Doctor of Chiropractic program has to go through 5,000 hours of formal education, and is pretty much the same education as what a medical doctor goes through. And so if you ask me, I would say it is chiropractors are real doctors, and many of my colleagues and many of the industry will agree with that. And because we receive the same education of very identical or similar to a Western physician.
So if chiropractic really works, then why aren't medical doctors using it?
So to answer your question, Lisa, that's a very good question because actually right now, I think the awareness is growing because in my clientele, I'm seeing many Western doctors, many specialists, many physios themselves are my clients. So the awareness is growing, but there will always be doctors, maybe dentists, maybe specialists, maybe physios that are not aware of chiropractic. And when they're not aware of something, it's human nature, to first disagree with something before they agree to that. But so hopefully in the near future with the growing awareness, because I always say awareness before change. So with the growing awareness, then the industry can change because more of these doctors will then believe in chiropractic especially if they have tried it, and then the word will go around and then they will actually be able to do that.
If a person sees a chiropractor, do they also have to see other doctors, or is seeing you alone enough?
So good question, Lisa. So what I would say is every human being is unique and it cannot be replicated, right? So everybody's condition is different, especially when you are here to fix a disease. I would say go and see a Western doctor. When you're unsure, always see your medical doctor. Always get there. What happens, because in health there is the prevention phase, there is the intervention phase, and there's also the recovery phase. Western doctors are great at intervention phase, they are great at emergency care, but I think chiropractic comes into play in prevention care as well as recovery and rehabilitation as well. It's very good to help people to heal faster and heal better, but we're not treating, we are actually helping, supporting the body to heal itself and heal at a faster pace.
What is the difference between chiros, TCMs, and physiotherapy?
So that's a good question again. I mean, I was saying now we are talking about three professions, but as a chiro, I would say chiropractic is about helping the spine and helping all the joints to actually release the tension, and different people call different things, and to help to unleash the potential with people. And when doing that, it really leads to health outcomes. So when you lead to health outcomes because of the release of the tension of the spine and the joints, then people feel better as a result. But it's not to say that chiropractic fix the issue, but chiropractic help to balance especially the overall system of the body. And when the body is healed and given more resources to deal with them, the body can then heal itself better. And in my limited understanding of TCM and also physio, because I'm not a physiotherapist, so I'm not like a TCM practitioner. So TCM practitioners base the body on yin-yang principles, and how they see the body as yin-yang, and they use herbs, they use acupuncture, they use moxibustion, they use bloodletting, they use different things to help to heal the body. And then physio is more about mobilization and helping the muscles to be able to rehab. And by doing that, I think that everyone has his place and everybody should at some point stay at their own lane, right? But it's sometimes easy to overlap, but it's definitely unique and distinct in each of them.
My medical doctor says that chiropractors break spines and bones. Is this true?
Absolutely not. You can see that in research has shown that, in life, everything has risks, but the risks of chiropractic adjustments, causing problems is very low, because compared to even medical procedures, some of the medical procedures, the risk is higher, And I think if a medical doctor says that it breaks spines, like I said, it could be the lack of exposure. It could be the lack of understanding of chiropractic. And in far view, it might look very scary and they may think it breaks, but actually our body can take that and it will not break easily.
Is bone setting safe? And are chiropractors bone setters?
So at the end of the day, it's a good question, Lisa. For bone setting, I would not want to be able to comment on bone setting because I'm not a bone setter myself, but bone setters are not chiropractic, because bone setters, a lot of them, they go through the bone setter course, or they go through some of them are self-taught, and actually many of them are not licensed as well. And so whereas for chiropractic, it's licensed, under many of the, bodies, and also it's recognized by the World Health Organization and recognized by many world organizations as legitimate, because they've gone through almost 5,000 hours, or if not 5,000 hours of education. So I would say that end of the day, is milk and yogurt the same, right? Even though people say, I know there are people who tell us, oh, bone setting and chiropractic is similar, but I'll ask them the same question: is milk and yogurt the same? So it's like that. So chiropractic is not bone setting, and bone setting is not chiropractic.
That's interesting. I've actually never heard of bone setters before, but I've definitely heard of chiropractors. Do chiropractors do the same adjustment for everyone, or is it customized based on what the client comes in for?
Oh, good question, Lisa. I would say in a short answer, absolutely no, because everybody is unique. Everybody has a different life story. Everybody has a different experience, and they come in with different problems. So by doing the same adjustment on everybody, that's doing a disservice to those people. And what I would say is, we have to assess, and we have to do it based on what's best for the client, and we will tailor adjustments for them. And it will not be a cookie cutter approach, but a customized solution for each customer that come in.
What is the difference between a manual and instrumental adjustment?
So for manual adjustments is when you actually learn manual adjustments like that. We doing like what people call the cracks, right?
Right.
Yeah, and
You use your hands for
you
that.
use our hands.
Yeah.
But that is a long study, and it's definitely, I mean, my teacher always used to tell us, one of my mentors always reminded us, don't be seduced by the cracks, because at the end of the day, we are not here to make sounds, but we're here to move bones, right? And that really was a life lesson to me. And to me, that's why I use manual adjusting a lot, because I realized that many people know how to do manual adjusting, but not many people can actually move bones and do it well. And I'm grateful to a lot of my mentors who have taught me and the adjusting really well. And at the same time, for instrument adjusting, it's there's one machine called, I think, an instrument called activator, where you just like tick, so you're putting like a very fast kind of speed impulse on the system, and that in theory would help to change the system. In some theory, it says that it's faster than the hand, but I would say that it has its users for sure, because for some kind of clients, I actually use instrument adjusting, because especially when they have a lot of injuries, because instrumental adjusting might help them because it's maybe gentler and softer for them than the manual adjustments.
Why do chiropractors charge so much?
Actually, that's an interesting question, because actually, I actually beg to differ. Chiropractors do not charge so much, because end of the day, if you look at all the professionals, medical professionals, they actually do not charge so much, and they are actually, what their charges is packed to what the professionals, managers, executive technicians, what they're paid for. And because end of the day, many of us went through many years of school, and to go to school, we probably spend like $500,000 at least, right? And many of my colleagues as well have spent this amount of money. So to be able to get to where we are, and for our expertise, and so I think we, in chiropractors in Singapore, the different clinics charges different prices, but I think we have clients that actually commented that our charges are very reasonable for sure. And so I guess everybody is different.
We hear you conduct free webinars on educating Singaporeans on the benefits of Zone Chiropractic. Can you tell us what are the 3 things that you cover inside this free webinar?
So first of all, I really would cover about what's the difference between treatment and wellness, right? That's number 1. And then I will go through about what's the difference between chiropractic and zone chiropractic. And lastly, I will say what the results between normal chiropractic and zone chiropractic. So that's the 3 things that I'm going to cover about in my webinar, because that's really, I think a lot of people, that's the question they have.
Who are your free webinars for? What is your target audience?
So my target audience is really especially for individuals and families and sports people, or people who are just suffering from problematic issues that they have been to everywhere and they couldn't find a resolution. And because a lot of times when people come to me, I'm usually the last stop, because they tried everything. And so if people who are struggling with their health, and they want to find a solution, they definitely can attend my webinar, and I can give them clarity and give them a different way to health.
Why are you doing your webinars for free? What is the catch? A lot of people think that if something's free, there must be a catch. So what's the catch?
So, the catch is I want people to show up, because as at the end of the day, in whether is it business, health, or things, the philosophy is givers gain, right? We want to give so that people can feel that they are loved, they're blessed, and there's no catch. And because at the end of the day, health is really important, because so that at least they're very comfortable to come in here and listen, because it's concerning their health, and health is really the basis of anything. And so I'm really just giving people for free so that they can learn and understand more about chiropractic in a bigger picture as well.
That's amazing. Tell us more about your values at Chiro.
So in Dr. Chiro, we have the values CHIRO, which means compassion, is health, integrity, respect, and openness. So this is the values that I think is really important, because when we are serving people, we really need to have compassion, and then we want to give people the best health that they can, and we have to serve people with integrity, because integrity is really important. And then we also want to treat people with respect, and we also want to have openness, so we have discussion so that people can discuss their issues with me, because a lot of the issues can change from time to time, and their conditions can change because it changes because of their we can change because of their lifestyle, and from time to time, like let's say today they're okay, but next week maybe they're not okay, right? So we want that openness of discussion for sure.
What are some unknown or unique adjustments that a chiropractic doctor can make that we aren't aware of?
So recently I had a couple of clients that actually told me that after seeing me, their constipation improved. The diarrhea stopped, and all their weird bloating, it really stopped. And I thought, wow, that was really interesting. And recently I even read one of my colleagues' website that it helps like celiac disease, which is like digestive problems as well, and it correlates to what my clients is telling me, and I'm like showing that this is like a empirical evidence, right? And at the same time, I'm hearing more and more of my clients actually telling me that in Singapore, it's Singlish, right? They have that. They said they've come to me already. They feel less pek-chek.
Yes, irritated, right?
Yes, then they feel less mang zhang,
What is that? I don't know
it's
what
like,
mang zhang is.
Mang zhang, it's something like you feel like pek-chek is like irritated, right? Mang zhang is like it's a difficult question, right? It's like very they feel like, because it's like a lot of emotions kept, but then after the adjustments, they feel like their emotions is not hiding anymore.
Like released.
Yes. And I thought that was like so interesting. But then I asked myself, why is it happened? And if you look at the spine, all the nerves, a lot of the nerves actually goes back to the brain, and it controls emotion. So when you actually adjust in a very deep way, people's emotions are improved. But not because I treat the emotions, but I actually help to relieve the spine. And then when the spine is relieved, the emotions also gets better, and people don't get irritated as a result.
Have you treated any famous sports people before?
So we have famous sports people. So I also see like a couple of them. So one of them is like Lee Te-jun, who is the the world champions of the Muay Thai. In the I think 62 kilograms weight category. And at the same time, we have seen some people like Remy Ong and a couple of the other sports people.
Is there a difference between adjusting people who are heavier and people who are lighter? So you mentioned the Muay Thai sports person, and he probably has a lot of muscles. Is there a difference between adjusting somebody like him versus adjusting a small petite girl? Is it more difficult or less difficult?
In theory, they're different because they have different statures, different build, different muscles, but actually once you're really experienced into the craft, it really doesn't matter, because you can adjust people. Even if I'm bigger, I can adjust somebody smaller, and likewise if I'm smaller, I can adjust somebody bigger. So I've adjusted people over 2 meters, and I don't have a problem with that. I have to really manage and my biomechanics to use like leverage so that it doesn't hurt me, right? So in the answer, I would say that there is no difference, but in theory, it sounds like there's a difference.
Okay. What are some common sport injuries that people go to you for treatment?
Sports injuries. So like many times, shoulder injuries, because many of the sports people, they suffer from rotator cuff, like tears and stuff. So after coming for adjustments, and then depending on their needs, right, many of them found relief. And also many of them who have, after a lot of like these exercises, their lower body they don't feel, it's like they say like they feel like they went like up the lorry, right? They just feel so painful. And then after coming for chiropractic adjustments, they feel like they're able to sleep better and after rest better. And after the adjustment, then they get better. And then their sports injury, they're able to get better timings. And, when they run, they actually say they actually manage to cut down some of the timings. And then they get their own personal best after seeing chiropractors. Because actually, when you actually see in chiropractic, many of the Olympic athletes, they themselves have a personal chiropractor, and many of them see chiropractors themselves. So chiropractic is definitely for sports, and it actually helps sports people to perform their best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so much fun having you today on GrowCast. And this was episode 48 of GrowCast with Dr. Chiro.
Thank you.